Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and beyond. I'm your host, I'm Renee, and today I'm going to talk to you about a book that I read recently with the Ellen Made Book Club, and she has answered her questions about the book sent in by viewers, and so I am going to do the same thing. The book is Fredrik Backman's Beartown. And before we get started now with the questions, I just have two quick announcements to make. Number one, there's a Christmas music tag that was recently started by Daniela at Uncommon Reader and me, yours truly, Renee of Beyond Books. And you can find it on either of our channels, and I'll also put links to both our videos in the description. I know it's a little bit early for Christmas. People aren't really thinking about it, but if you want to put it on your tag schedule, if you have one, now would be a good time to do it. So I thought I'd just give a little reminder. We do want to hear your version of the tag when you have a chance. Tag Tuesday's coming up. Week of Thanksgiving would also be a great time for it. So, again, just a reminder that it's available if you're looking for something holiday themed to do on your channel. And then secondly, I also recently sponsored a giveaway. I will be giving away 3 bookmarks, and I had them here, but I don't right now. So I will get those and show them to you in just a second. But first, what I'll do also is I will link my announcement video in the description. And there are a few rules that you should be aware of. But otherwise, I'll just let you go take a look at that video. And then you just have to remember that you need to do what you need to do to get yourself in the running if you're interested. And I will do the giveaway November 20th. I'm going to close everything at 3 p.m. that day as far as any more entries. And then I'll make a video of myself picking the entries, and that will be out there for you guys to see. So good luck to everyone who enters into that. Hold on. Let me get those bookmarks for you. Okay, so these are all bookmarks that I made with diamond painting. This is a multicolored tree, and it's got a nice lavender tassel. There is also a cardinal, nice bright red cardinal, and he's got a nice silver colored tassel with him. And then there is this one that is kind of a orchid lavender color in the trees mostly, and the lavender tassel on that one. So, all right, those are up for grabs. So if you're interested, find out how to do it and get yourself in the running. All right, so now let's talk about these questions. These were all sent in from various, like I say, viewers of Ellen Made Book Club. One is Emily at Linguistics Library, Mariandrea at Books and Bocadillos, Chelsea at Libraries and Lattes, and then I sent in, I believe, 1 or 2 of these questions myself. So the first one is, what made you gravitate towards this particular book? And now we're talking about Beartown here. So what made me gravitate to it, I think originally was I saw this in the Goodwill. I bought it for $1 at the Goodwill, and it's in beautiful shape. But I just really liked the cover. I just thought it had a nice, peaceful, kind of old-fashioned look. And I think that was the first thing that attracted me to it. And I realized right away that Backman was the person who wrote A Man Called Ove. And I had not read that book at that time, but I kind of was interested in this. And then when Ellen brought up that she was going to have that be one of her books for the book club for the month of October, I just thought that was a great idea and just a great time to go ahead and jump in with it. So I'm glad I did, because one thing I will say, I absolutely enjoyed this book. I'm getting to be a real Backman fan now. I have a couple more of his books. So yeah, this is a good book. So that's how I kind of got started with it, though. Number 2, were there any characters that you absolutely hated because of their actions? Or did you have empathy for all of the characters? I'm going to say that in the long run, I probably have empathy for all of the characters. It's not that I don't think that I like them all necessarily, or even like everything that they did. I certainly do not. However, I do see a side, at least, that says, there are a lot of reasons why this happened. Not excuses, not letting people off the hook for their behavior. That's not it. But you can kind of see how something like this can happen in the environment of this town. And that's why it's called Beartown, I think, is because, it's like the town is kind of almost like a trap. It's a small town. Everybody plays hockey. Hockey becomes very, very, very important to people. A lot of people work with the hockey team. The people that are on the hockey team really want to go pro because that means they're going to get a lot of money really quickly. Parents push their kids to go pro and get a lot of money really quickly. And there's just a lot of pressure on everyone. We're Beartown. And so, we're going to win. We're going to be the best. Stuff like that is good. I mean, yeah, of course, competition can, breed some excellence among people. But what happens when it starts to go bad? And that's basically what this book deals about. Did any of the characters grow on you over time? Now I know what Ellen's answers are because she's already done her video. But yeah, I would pick the same characters as her. Benji, I don't know if I'd call it so much growing on me over time as I would call it like the story kind of expanded to a point where you got to see sort of a different side of him, or I don't want to say different, additional information started kind of coming out about Benji that gave him more dimensions as a character. And then I also just kind of like Leo, who is the little brother of one of the other main characters who happens to be a female. Now, the book is not all that strong on females, but it's about a female perspective as well. And that's Maya. Leo is Maya's little brother. So, number 4, how did you feel about the hockey aspect of the story? Did that add to or take away your enjoyment of it? Okay, well, I'm not afraid of a hockey story, not at all. I'm somewhat of a hockey fan. I've kind of been on again, off again. I'm not so crazy about any sport that I watch it consistently. However, if there is a sport that I do watch consistently, kind of a mainstream sport, probably if you looked at throughout my whole lifetime, it would be hockey. And to prove that point, another hockey book. I haven't read it yet, but I have read others, actually. I believe I even read others about Bobby Orr. Now, I grew up in the time and the place where we thought Bobby Orr was just the greatest. And he is one of the greatest hockey players to come along, arguably. It was a long time ago, so I know you have your favorites in between, and that's fine. I have favorites, too. So, yeah, I've been a hockey fan for quite a while. So that aspect of the story did not scare me at all. And did that add to or take away my enjoyment? I don't know if it really added any enjoyment necessarily, or if it took away any enjoyment. The story is about the town. Hockey is important in the town. The story is about, like I say, what happens when the town closes in like a bear trap on people, and hockey makes it bigger than its own britches, then what happens? So, yeah, I'm not sure that, if it wasn't hockey, it'd be another sport. And all of the stories that you can tell about hockey, you could probably tell about another sport, or maybe some other area where there's, let's face it, male dominance, and where, a lot of money gets thrown into it. Now, I see that money kind of really is one of the things that is the thing that just pollutes the town, is that love of money and that drive towards, being that hockey pro. I think that money has a lot of things to do with it. So if you're looking for blame, that would be one area. And, unfortunately, it's kind of the way the world is now. I could probably say that about a lot of areas of life. I mean, I worked in healthcare all my life. Let me tell you, in this country of the United States of America, it has become, healthcare has become a consumer thing and a capitalist thing. And there's a lot of companies that make a lot of money from it. So it is what it is, whether you think that's right or whether you think that's wrong. It does change things. So number 5 is, how does Beartown compare to Ove? Well, I think it compares very favorably. They're both excellent books, no question about that. And I probably should mention at this point that Beartown does contain a rape. It is a story that has a rape in it, as well as Ove has suicidal thoughts in it. So those are two things you might want to watch out for in terms of triggers. But although they're both good books, although they're both by Fredrik Backman, they are a little bit different in some ways. And if I had to pick a favorite, which one would I pick? I'd pick Beartown. Just because I liked that there were so many characters in it and the way that they interwove with each other, and that the town was kind of the binding factor that held the whole story together. Ove is a little bit more of a story of, isolation. It's his isolation, and we really learn a lot about him. The other characters aren't quite as developed as much, but in Beartown, all of the characters really, I feel, are, they're not just one-dimensional characters, that's for sure. Now, another thing about Beartown that sets it apart and makes it different from Ove is that it is part of a series. It's the first in a series. The second book is called Us Against Them, and the third book is called The Winners. And you can really see in the story how they're kind of setting up, down the pike for some different things to maybe happen with the characters. So I got a feeling that the characters that maybe we did lay some blame on for the situation, or characters that we thought were good in some ways, I really think that things have time to change in 3 books. Not just change, but we have time to see all aspects of it. So, yeah, there's that. So number 6, which one impressed you more and why? Well, I said I like Beartown better. I kind of explained, being part of a series, I think it just has an opportunity for a little bit more depth. Not that he couldn't put another book, into an Ove series. He certainly could. He's a good writer and he's certainly capable of it. Not only that, but he had some good characters that he was starting to develop there in Ove, even though it started out, like I say, just with Ove kind of being an isolated person. So I think that you could probably develop that and bring a little more into it. And who knows, if he were to do that, I may like the Ove series better than the Beartown series. So we'll see. So now, if you have a chance, I also read for the Ellen Made Book Club. I didn't read this with the book club. I think I read it the month before she read it in the book club, but I said I'd go ahead and answer the questions as well. There are only a few, if you want to stick around for that. I have talked about this book before, but it's a good book, so it's worth another talk, right? There are a few questions here. Now, these were all sent in by, again, Emily at Linguistics Library, Chelsea at Libraries and Lattes, Ellen, which is one of our viewers who comments often, and myself. So let's get started. What made you gravitate towards this particular book? Well, just when I heard that it was about an octopus and a little bit about the story, it's about not only an octopus, it's really not about an octopus, but there was a character that was an octopus, and also that there was a character who was an older woman who kind of ends up having a fun relationship with the octopus. I mean, I just thought that that was neat, and I wanted to read it. And also in August, there was an author talk at my local library by this author, Shelby Van Pelt. And I went ahead and signed up for that. And when I did, I thought I'd go ahead and read the book so I could get a little bit more out of the author talk. And it was very enjoyable and interesting. So I'll put a link to that video of mine as well, where I talk about that in case you missed that one and you want to see it and learn a little bit more about what she said about the book as well. The next question, and this one was from Helen. Marcellus was the book's unique selling point. That's true. Would it have been as good without Marcellus, or using a human in Marcellus's place? I think the short answer is no. I think this story needs Marcellus. I mean, look at him. He's all over the cover. And he even has his own chapters. Because when we hear what he's thinking, his conversational stuff, it's going to be with this these little tentacles up on the top of the page. And the page is like a little bit gray, like it has a little sketching on it. And so, yeah, he's a major character in the story. And I think we need him because he has just a totally different perspective. He's not even the same species. He can't get out of his tank, or can he? He actually can, but he can't for very long. So he has certain limitations. And of course, his communication with us as humans is pretty limited, and ours with him as well. But he knows a lot of things. He's definitely a remarkably bright creature. But yeah, so I like that part of it. And I kind of feel like Marcellus, yeah, he needs to be in there. How predictable did you find this story, and did it matter? Predictable. I don't think it was necessarily predictable. There is a point where it starts to dawn on you what the little mystery is and how things are going to start coming together. Oh, that was like an octopus, wasn't it? And how things are going to start, coming together for people. It does start to dawn on you in your mind, and, you start putting the pieces together at the same time. But that's what, in a way, is kind of neat about the book. It just kind of unfolds into this story that starts out with just a woman who goes to work cleaning an aquarium and happens to notice that the octopus is out of his tank. And what's going on? What does he do when he's out of his tank? It's that kind of thing. So, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There'll be a point where you'll get it, and you'll kind of know in that sense. Ooh, but you're not going to be sure how it's all going to go together at the end. So, it doesn't matter in this book. What did you think about Cameron and his progression as a person? Okay, Cameron is a character who is a younger man. He's, I think, in his late 20s, but he doesn't really act it. He's kind of immature in that sense, but he's very likable. He has a kind heart, and I think he's trying to find his place in the world. He really doesn't mean to cause some of the upset that he's caused and get himself in the situations that he's gotten into. But that's what happens. That's what happens when you're younger sometimes. And certainly that's what can happen when you're immature. And even though 28, he should be, doing pretty well. I mean, some people have businesses and all kinds of things going at that age. some people don't. And that's kind of where Cameron is. So I think he's a likable character. He doesn't always do maybe what you think he should do, but it's right for the story. It's part of the story. So yeah, I liked Cameron. I've heard criticisms that there was too much about him, too much written about him, and that kind of thing. I mean, no, I didn't get that sense myself. Who was your favorite character and why? Well, I think you know that. It was Marcellus, of course. I think we can have relationships with animals, relationships that really count. And they can make an influence on our lives, and they can really add to our lives. And because of them, or I don't know, because they're there, I guess, they bring a certain sense of love. And that sense of love spreads out, love fans out. And so, that's what kind of happens in this story. And yeah, I mean, I have no idea why an octopus can't be a major character in a story, obviously. Now, I will say, I've had the experience where I've started telling people about this book, and they've looked at me like I have just lost my mind. So they don't think that an octopus apparently can be a major character. They don't like an octopus. They don't think octopuses are cute in any way. And they just don't want anything to do with a book about an octopus. And why would this crazy woman be telling me that? So, that's their choice. But again, I just feel we can have relationships with animals. So why not talk about it? I mean, and I guess if you don't believe it or you reject that, that's fine too. But, you can miss out on a good book. It's a good one. So if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day.